Video. Hello, Internet. This is Olin from What I'm Listening To. Hope you all are staying safe, staying healthy, keeping those hands nice and clean, and wearing that mask when you go outside. Today's video is going to actually be the first part of a two-parter. A long time ago, I had conceived an idea for a video which consisted of box sets and various artist compilations, and I tried to incorporate both of those things into one. And I even filmed this video, but I realized I didn't really like how it flowed. I felt there was just too much I was trying to cram into one video, and ultimately I scrapped it. But I revisited the idea and decided to try my hand at it again, but instead of doing one video, we're gonna do two videos. The first part, which is this part right now, is gonna focus on various artist compilations, and the second part is going to be box sets. Now, I will preference that in this part, the various artist compilations, there are going to be some box sets included on it. But what sets it aside from the box set video is the box set video is going to feature albums, specific albums or compilations by one artist in a box. These are all albums, whether they're in a box or not, done by multiple artists. I will reiterate that in the other part when I film it. But staying on the topic of various artists, these are going to be albums that either include original music specifically composed for the compilation, or they are tributes or covers of other pre-existing songs out there, all done by different people. And I'm not going to be including soundtracks to movies, video games, stuff that has had various artists compiled into one thing. I feel like those are kind of a cop-out. I'm more interested in original music and even covers. So, with all that being said, let's jump right into it. And the first compilation I have for you today, I have More Or, a tribute to the Skip Spence album. I made reference to this album on my quarantine shopping spree vlog when I talked about the original album itself. Or, to go back to that, I actually bought this album first before even buying or even listening to the original Skip Spence album. The reason I bought this is because it has a cover of his song Grey Afro by Flying Saucer Attack, my favorite band. I had already collected all the Flying Saucer Attack albums I could on CD, and I was trying to find other media that had Flying Saucer Attack songs, stuff that I didn't have, and this fit that quota. But that wasn't the only reason why I bought it. I looked at the track list and found there are some other great artists who contributed to this. Robert Plant, Mark Langen, Jay Farrar, Mudhoney, Tom Waits. Lots and lots of fantastic people. So I saw it as an opportunity to hear something interesting, discover new music. Maybe I would get the original album after listening to this. It took a couple years. I finally have the original Or album, but it wasn't really thanks to this. That was for a different reason. But regardless, this is a great compilation. There's some great covers on here. And if you are a fan of Skip Spence and you haven't checked this out, highly recommend it. It's pretty interesting to listen to.
Little hands clapping, children are laughing, little hands clapping all over the world.
The next compilation I have for you today, I have talked numerous times about it, but I couldn't help but to bring it up again. I have The Harmony of the Spheres. Of all the compilations I have in my collection, I think this might be my favorite compilation. In fact, it might be my favorite compilation of all time. For those of you who don't know it, this is a compilation put together by a San Francisco label called Drunken Fish, which I don't think is around anymore, sadly. But the people or person behind the label got all these artists to contribute some original music to be put on this compilation. The vinyl version was released as a 3-disc box set, which included this awesome 32-page booklet talking about each artist. While the CD version may not have the booklet, all the music is there, and it's fantastic. It features people like Bardo Pond, Jessamine, Roy Montgomery, Lauren Massican Connors, the Carolimbines, and of course, Flying Saucer Attack. I love this album so much. It is responsible for getting me more into experimental music. Like with the More Or compilation, I bought this album specifically for the Flying Saucer Attack contributions. In fact, now that I think about it, I think I bought those Flying Saucer Attack songs on iTunes by themselves. And then a time later, years maybe, I found this CD at Amoeba, and I didn't really think that a physical copy of it existed, but I recognized the album cover, and I just couldn't help myself. I bought it. What I didn't expect was how much I would end up listening to it. Not just the Flying Saucer Attack songs, but everything on here. Some of the best experimental music lives on here. The Roy Montgomery track is one of my favorites. The Carolimbines recording is great. You know what? Everything on here is fantastic. So if you're looking for some kind of start as to where you can jump into experimental music, I honestly recommend you check this out. This is a beautiful, beautiful album. I think the vinyl version is kind of rare. Now, this one might even be kind of rare. I think it's limited to like 2,000 copies, but you can get it on iTunes. I totally recommend checking it out. Everything on here is wonderful. Okay, staying on the topic of experimental music, the next compilation I have here is a Brainwashed compilation called Brain in the Wire. Brainwashed was an outlet that profiled tons and tons of bands and artists, mostly experimental bands. This amazing tin box set has tons and tons and tons of great content in here. I have to take the tape off to bust into this. Oh god, this is gonna take some time. Hang on a sec. There we go. Okay, open up this box here. Okay, everything's falling out. But this box set, if I can get the media out here, it's a little packed in there. It has 3 discs worth of material, and the track listing isn't in this booklet. Sorry, hang on, I'm so unprepared here. Here we go. It has contributions by folks like the legendary Pink Dots, Jessica Byliff, Windy and Carl is on here, Bedhead is on here, Stars of the Lid is on here. Just tons and tons of great artists. I stumbled across this box set at Amoeba Berkeley, and the reason why I bought it was $5.99. It looks like the original price, if we can see that, is it going to clear up? Yeah. The original, oh no, it's blurry. The original price was $14.99. So basically $10 off for a ton of music by bands I really like. It was a no-brainer. No pun intended. I had to get it. I want to say most of the stuff is original to the compilation. It may not all have been recorded for the compilation. I know there's some tracks, like the Stars of the Lid track was eventually released on the Tired Sounds, but I think at the time it was a new track and they put it on the compilation. But if anything, it's a great listen. Like I said, tons and tons of great bands. I will leave a link in the description for you all to look at the track list and see what's on this behemoth. And if any of it interests you, definitely recommend checking it out. It's great. The next compilation I have for you today, I have Swim Team number 2. Swim is a British label that puts out, again, tons and tons of great material. They released 2 compilations that acted sort of as samplers as to what kind of stuff they were putting out on the label. I don't have the first one, unfortunately, I'm still on the hunt for that, but I found this one in the experimental clearance section of Amoeba San Francisco and was stoked. Like the first 2 compilations I talked about, I bought this because there is a Flying Saucer Attack song on here, or rather, it is a remix of a Flying Saucer Attack song. But unlike other Flying Saucer Attack songs, it's a much more electronic influenced song. It has the kind of iconic haziness, the hushed vocals, and the guitar sound that you would hear in a Flying Saucer Attack song, but it adds more electronic-y beats to it. But regardless, it's a great track. And when I found this for, I don't even know how much it was, super cheap, I bought it. And when I listened through this, I discovered some fantastic bands. Silo, Colin Newman from Wire does some stuff on here. Immersion, who remixed the Flying Saucer Attack song, but his song by itself is really good. Yeah, there's just some quality experimental electronic music on here. I love when labels do compilations like this. It's a great starting point as to figuring out where to go. Most labels have a lot of stuff they released, and when you discover a label, it may be a bit overwhelming to figure out which album to start with. So compilations like these are helpful because you listen to a song from it and go, hey, I like this, what else do they have? And you just go from there. So yeah, thank you, Swim, for putting this out. I will eventually get the first volume whenever I find it, or whenever the record stores open up again. The next compilation I have for you today, I have the Day of the Dead box set. This box set is a wonderful collection. I want to say it's, how many discs is this? I think it's 5 discs. Let's bust it open and find out. Whoa, that's a poster. That's a booklet. Oh, these all discs. Yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 discs worth of content. And all the content on those discs features Grateful Dead covers done by tons and tons of amazing artists. People like The War on Drugs, Courtney Barnett, Tim Hecker is on here, The Lone Below, The National, The Flaming Lips, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Bonnie Prince Billy. I could go on and on and on. There's just a lot of great artists on here. The funny thing about me owning this is I'm actually not a huge Grateful Dead fan. It's not that I don't like them, but I just really haven't listened to a lot of their stuff apart from their more popular songs. The reason I bought this box set is for the National's cover of The Morning Dew. Before the box set was released, the National released that cover as a promo for this, and I love the National, so when I heard that cover, I thought, this is incredible. I have to get this box set. And I didn't even care if I didn't know much by the Grateful Dead. I knew I liked some of the artists on here, so I figured whatever they contribute should be good. So yeah, this is a beautiful box set full of great music. You don't have to be a fan of the Grateful Dead to appreciate this. You can just like some of the bands on here. But if you do love the Grateful Dead, then another reason for you to check this out if you haven't.
Walk me out in the morning dew today. I can't walk you out in the morning dew, my honey.
The next compilation I have for you today, I have Schoolhouse Rock Rocks. Some of you might remember Schoolhouse Rock from when you were a kid. They were these fun little sing-along animations that were supposed to educate kids on different topics. They had versions like Science Rock and America Rock and Math Rock. Not the genre, but actually math. I remember when we had substitute teachers, they would put those on during class, probably just to fill time and use it as an excuse to educate. But I also owned all of them on VHS at my house and would watch them constantly. But at the very end of each of those VHSs, they had sort of an advertisement for this album in which they would take one of the songs from the album and then put it on top of the original music video. I didn't think anything of it as a kid apart from just a different version of the song. But when I got into my teenage years, I started taking interest in the album. I was looking through Amazon and happened to find it on sale, I think by a third-party seller, for super cheap, so I bought it just because I thought, this is nostalgic. And not only did it pacify that nostalgic craving, but it also introduced me to some fantastic, fantastic bands. There's contributions by bands like Blind Melon, the Deluxe Folk Implosion, let's see, Pavement is on here, Ween is on here, the Lemonheads is on here, Daniel Johnston is on here. It blew my mind when I revisited this years and years later and didn't realize just how many amazing influential indie bands were on here. And now that I think about it, this might have been my formal introduction to Daniel Johnston. He does a cover of Unpack Your Adjectives, and I remember listening to it and thinking it was so weird because he had a lisp and he kind of had like this sluggish vocal delivery, but you know, it was whatever. So and eventually I listened to Yip Jump Music and didn't hear that. I heard these lo-fi recordings of this kid playing a chord organ. I was really confused, but I digress. We're not going to go down to Daniel Johnston realm. All I'll say is the covers on here are just phenomenal. I'd say if you're a fan of any of the bands I listed and or remember listening to Schoolhouse Rock tunes when you were a kid, this is a must listen.
I'm just a pill, yes I'm only a pill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Whirlwinds, well, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long week while I'm sitting in the
Next. Hi Internet. Sorry to interrupt the video you're watching, but I am in the middle of editing said video that you're watching, and I realized as I'm editing, I have an album that fits with this theme perfectly, and I completely forgot to talk about it. So instead of reshooting the entire thing, I'm just gonna splice this right in the middle of it, so hopefully it doesn't disrupt the flow much. I'm not even using my microphone, I'm just filming it. I'm relying on my camera's microphone. The audio probably won't sound the best, I'm sorry, but I have to talk about this album. So, splicing this in the middle of the programming, the next album I want to talk about today, I have the late, great Daniel Johnston. This is a phenomenal 2-disc compilation featuring tons and tons of Daniel Johnston material. The first disc is all Daniel Johnston songs as performed by different artists. And the second disc is all the songs that were covered, but in their original form. So there are people on this compilation like Teenage Fan Club collaborating with Jad Fair, The Eels, TV on the Radio, Calvin Johnson, Bright Eyes, Death Cab for Cutie, Beck, The Flaming Lips, tons and tons of phenomenal artists. If you've watched enough of my videos, you know Daniel Johnston means the world to me. He's was one of my all-time favorite artists, and this cover, unfortunately, is actually sad to look at now because I know it was taken for the comedic effect, but Daniel's no longer with us now. It's sad to pull this out and see the cover and see all the amazing songs he's done. This is only like a fraction of what he's done. He has so much content and all of it is so worth listening to. And this compilation technically doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my girlfriend, and I want to say she bought this on our first date. That wasn't supposed to be a date. It was just a trip we took to Amoeba and it turned into a date, whatever. But yeah, she got this compilation because she knew I really liked Daniel Johnston and I think she really wanted to impress me, so she bought this. And now it lives in the collection, the collective collection. It's really a phenomenal compilation, and to be honest, I think some of the covers that are done on the first disc are better than Daniel Johnston's version. Tom Waits' cover of King Kong is insane, but it's amazing. And Beck's version of True Love Will Find You in the End is so beautiful. That song already is beautiful, but Beck just turns it into something just grabs you. So yeah, this is an amazing compilation. To anybody who's a fan of Daniel Johnston, this is a must listen to. Rest in peace, Daniel. We seriously will miss you.
Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end.
Compilation I have for you today is a compilation with a name I can't pronounce. So what else is new? Let's see if I can read it here. Der Wanderer über dem Nebelmeer. Nebelmeer. Ugh, Google Translate, help me.
Der Wanderer über dem Nebelmeer.
This is a compilation featuring a ton of dark folk, neo-folk, and black metal bands. And like the Harmony of the Spheres, everything on here is original. It was recorded specifically for this compilation. I bought this specifically for the contributions by Musk Ox and Agalok. Both of those groups make some of the best music, dark folk, black metal, I've ever heard. I was listening to this compilation a lot during my playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and I felt there were some tracks that just worked with the atmosphere of that game. The nice medieval themed songs, the kind of spooky songs. It really just added to my experience with the game. In fact, I haven't even opened this, so let's see what we got in here. Got the nice cover of the man overlooking the forest. We got here. Oh, that almost fell out. Yikes. What we got? We got a booklet. All the breakdown of things. A rusty staple in between. Oh yeah, very, very rusty. Can you see the nice and brown? God, there's like rust all over the place. God, I wonder if this has just been like sitting in storage for ages. Yeah, I'm excited to own this. This is fantastic, wonderful, wonderful music. I definitely recommend checking this out. There's some fantastic, fantastic cuts on here. And it's especially nice to listen to when playing a game like Breath of the Wild, or really any kind of medieval themed video game. Last compilation I have for you today, I am very, very, very excited about. I have a box set called Stum 433. This box set was put out by the great people of Mute Records. All the material on here features a ton of amazing, amazing bands doing their take on John Cage's 433. And just to give a bit of education for those of you who don't know this piece, John Cage, who was this amazing, famous avant-garde composer, made this piece called 433. The piece could be performed by anyone with any instrument. What it did was it called for the performer to put their instrument down and stay silent for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. The whole idea behind the piece was to allow the audience viewing the performers to sit there for 4 minutes, 33 seconds in silence, or to just kind of experience the atmosphere that was going on around them. And this opened up so many dimensions on how you would interpret this piece. If it was being performed in like a small cafe, perhaps, you would hear the sound of the cafe. Or if you were in a huge concert hall, you would hear the ambience of people maybe clearing their throat, shuffling, or whatever atmosphere was going on. The point of it was to just be in the moment. So this box set features a ton of field recordings, basically, done by a lot of people. In fact, I haven't even removed the plastic wrap from this because I wanted to save it for this video, so I'm so excited to dig in and see what kind of stuff's in here. This is an exclusive here. Let's try to rip the plastic off without damaging the box. Alright, let's see. Opening it nice and slowly there. Okay. Got the booklet. Oh my god, yeah. That's a thick booklet. Ooh, yeah, it's got pictures and everything. Let's see if you can see that. Let's see if I can list some names here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 discs worth of stuff. We got people like Depeche Mode. We got Wire. We have Michael Gira, the Afghan Wigs, Mick Harvey, Looper. Oh, the Warlocks are on here. Damn. Ben Frost, New Order, Lee Ronaldo. Yeah, tons of people. Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm really excited to. Oh, I'm reading it upside down. I'm really excited to look through this. I gotta save that for later. I'm a sucker for field recordings. I love that kind of stuff. I made a vlog on field recordings. To most people, it's nothing. It's not even music, and it really isn't music. Most listeners might write that kind of stuff off because why would you want to listen to a recording of a babbling brook or atmosphere of something? I personally love it. I think it's very, very soothing, and I think some of it can be very interesting. And this box set should be an amazing listen. I'm so excited to hear what kind of pieces are composed here. I love box sets like these. I love owning these kind of things, so I'm so very excited this is in my collection. Alrighty then, Internet, that does it for me. Hey, if you have any various artist compilations you really enjoy that I didn't talk about in this video, leave a comment down below. I want to check it out, and if I like it, maybe I'll do a follow-up to this video. Also, if you enjoyed watching this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It'll show me the support, and I'll love your face for it. And you can also follow me on Instagram for even more music. I post a new album on there somewhat frequently, talk a little bit about it, and it gives you a bit of an insight of what else is in my collection. Thank you all very, very much for watching. I will see you all in part 2 when I talk about box sets. This is Olin from What I'm Listening To, signing out. Goodbye.